Hello. So before I say anything, majority of this video is just going to be my opinion on things or other people's opinions in some parts, but I just felt like sharing. Don't come after me for anything. It's just sharing my opinion and all. This video is also just made kind of quick because I wanted to throw some complaints out there and point out things I've noticed with the recent dev update. And also, yeah, I know it's it's been a while since I uploaded. I said it in a community post, but due to a certain game's staff team, I sort of lost the motivation to make Roblox videos. On top of Roblox's just current direction, where it seems like they don't know what the platform wants to be. And also got a college and adult life stuff now I need to focus on more than just making YouTube videos. So, um, outside of like clips. Like I make clip dumps occasionally. This is probably going to be the second last like quote unquote like major Roblox video that I make. Like never. Alright, so how do I feel about the update? Well, if you didn't read the title somehow, I say that it's mixed because it's not good and it's not really bad either. I'm going to try to organize my thoughts as best I can here, but I may just ramble off stuff, but here goes. First, I'll just start off with the good, which is that civilian customization is really nice outside of some very questionable people making it so they're just they're just naked or using one of like the charms to get like really large or weird torsos. The system works well and allows for more user representation, some fun just creating characters. The maps, for the most part, I feel are an improvement over what we had before, but I do have some complaints regarding the maps that I'll get to later. Artful with the map changes is actually fun to play now because they just made the maps more cramped. And there was just an issue that some of the maps were so open that he struggled in some cases. Okay, so now I'm just going to become more critical because most of my thoughts are double-sided here, where there's good and there's bad. The new abilities, for the most part, are just, I'd like, mixed bag to me. Love Shot and Noisemaker synergies, like synergy versions of the abilities they have, are alright. I don't really understand what Sweet Tooth does that helps you. I literally just haven't gotten it. And I mean, your pet is the same, so there's something to say there. I do like that they buffed Hot Dog and Dash to feel overall better, and I especially like that they gave Dash technically like 2 use cases now. However, the new abilities they added are kind of just mid. Pi is alright, but its effects are extremely easy to ignore as the killer. But I feel if they buffed it, it would become extremely annoying as the killer. Flashlight, though, I feel needs a rework or like internal rework because, one, it is either a mild annoyance for the killer or extremely annoying for the killer, depending how many flashlights there are or if you can even avoid them in the first place. But also, the flashlight's effects are just super situational, as it just very slightly increases stun and ragdoll times on the killer. But a majority of the time, the effect will wear off before they get stunned, or because you just flashlight them after they got stunned and they're standing still, which makes it easier to hit them with it. But then it's just gonna wear off, not do anything. Using the flashlight while being chased can just very easily be ignored by the killer in most instances, so it does nothing but just make you easier to hit. And that's even if it works to begin with, because there's been an issue with flashlight that I've seen several people post about on Twitter, and I've had it happen to me extremely often, and I've seen it happen to others in game. But basically, the flashlight has a chance to just do literally nothing at all to the killer. The theory on Twitter that I've seen is that the hit detection for the flashlight's cone, or I want to say hitbox, is dependent on your server and like your ping and connection. And if it's around or above 160 ping, there's a chance your flashlight won't register as hitting and thus will do absolutely nothing. I think it has something to do with how it's checking if it's hitting in the server update or tick rate, which I made the comparison that it's kind of like the Resident Evil 5 FPS bug, which is a bug that just makes it so the flamethrower is required for a boss later in the game does basically no damage because the game on PC runs at 60 FPS by default instead of 30 FPS, which is what the game was developed for and developed in. And it causes the game to read the flamethrower as basically not hitting majority of the time and doing less damage. I just compared it to that. Alright, now to talk about the killers. Pursuer's fine. Well, I think he's better than before. I mean, there's a reason to use stock now, which is nice, but I personally don't like using it and never used it both pre or post update because I literally just used M1 the sword lunge to just make do, and occasionally using the how, which they changed now that to be a projectile that has to be aimed, but for the most part, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I have to use badware, but from the badwares I've gone up against, he seems fine. I saw a post blow up on Twitter asking for him to be nerfed, but other people basically said that the circumstances in which this person was asking for them to be nerfed would just never happen in the first place in a normal match anyways, so yeah, I guess. Killjoy to me is actually fun to play now though, because my main issue before the update with them is that they felt really sluggish and slow, and it took years to call down a drone, which left you super open to getting stunned or hit with abilities, which was extremely annoying. On top of drones that could be disarmed, and then just didn't feel all that helpful. It just wasn't all that fun. Now though, I think he's in a good state and maybe just needs like a minor nerf, but yeah, he's fun now. Propel's an ability is just so extremely fun to use purely because of the dopamine I feel from getting a free pointer by using it, which is just killing someone with it. I'm really glad they replaced it with detonate and just made detonate a passive because this is just better in every way. Like I said earlier, Artful's fine. Now for presumably one of my hot takes because I think Harkin needs nerfed or changed. Her new ability to grapple civilians is fine for a majority of a normal match, but once it enters last man standing, if it hits, it is over for the survivor. It is just essentially an instant win for the Harkin. And don't even get me started on how much it makes a one bounce a complete joke for the killers. Especially because I made a tweet about it yesterday and it did decently well, but I was halfway through one bounce with half health, around 220, and then get grappled, which there was no hitbox for, no wind up, no anything, and they made it so the killers can damage you in the middle of the super long animation and get ragdolled after it finishes. So I take almost 150 damage, then get ragdolled, and I get away for a couple seconds, and they made it so another one of Harkin's moves can ragdoll you at close range. So I take more damage, get ragdolled again, and then die. And I even got another clip later in the same night where I was in last man standing against a Harkin, and I juked them a bit, tried to juke them around the corner, and you could see that they aren't even on screen anymore and somehow grapple me from almost like 4 to 5 player characters away, and I die instantly. And you can also see in the clip the server location visualizer thing, I wasn't even near them. So I guess the hitbox for the grapple move is actually it's genuinely just that large. And this all goes without mentioning that in general, even without the grapple, if you're on a last man standing against a currently enraged Harkin, or they just became enraged, then it's just over. It's your chances are not in your favor because of how large the light piercer hitbox becomes. Literally, I just think Harkin needs just another rework or just needs nerfed. Most people, though, for some reason, really want Killjoy and Badware extremely nerfed for some reason, which I just do not understand. I don't understand where this is coming from. All right, the maps. They're all right, I guess. The new exhibition map is all right. It's good, I guess. Really, all the maps are good to me besides one, which is Default Paradise, which I know is ironic for me to complain about because of my channel. But they literally made it so extremely cramped with so many dead ends and corners on top of stage hazards now Not to mention, there's just so much going on visual-wise compared to before. There's one part of the map I saw and half said aloud, "Is that a part of the map? How do I get there?" Because there's so much detail that I thought it had to be a place that I could get to, but no, it was outside the map. It was a part of the boundary of the map, which kind of brings me to another issue that one of my friends brought up, which is that gameplay-wise, most of the maps are fine. Again, outside of Teapot Paradise. But visual-wise, there's just way too much going on, and that it's hard to know what can and can't be destroyed. And some people I know now can't play the game on lower end devices because of just how over detailed some of the maps are that it lags out devices, which definitely wasn't an issue before the update. And as far as I'm aware, they aren't even really doing anything to address this. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the new game modes. I know I'm not the only person that feels this way, but Fry Bomber and Golf feel really detached from the rest of the game, and I don't understand why they were added outside of just adding more content to the update to make it seem more worth the wait, if that makes any sense. The other game modes, in some way, were still tied to the original asymmetrical game concept with survivors and killers, but Golf is just Golf, and Fry Bomber is just hot potato with really weird keybind choices from the devs. Seriously, though, why is the tag move binded to Q and not a mouse click? It doesn't make any sense. Golf I care slightly less about, but I haven't seen anyone actually like Fry Bomber. No one likes it. You don't get a unique reward from it outside of a banner that no one uses, and a little bit of money, and no one thinks it's fun. So just why keep it in the game? I don't understand why it's here. The final thing I wanted to complain about is hitboxes, which the problem isn't new, but has been a problem ever since the game went public. I just don't understand that if it's been over a year, why they haven't been touched up upon or fixed at all, especially with the update bringing in so many people. There's been tons of clips of people dying or getting hit from far outside the hitboxes, extending way further than they reasonably should, which again kind of ties back to that clip of me getting hit from super far away by the Hurricane's grapple. A user on Twitter named One Upsy showed how bad the hitboxes are right now, and I recommend you just go look at their tweet and watch their little video. I think it shows it better than I ever could. But from their tweet, I tested the hitboxes in a similar way that they did, and just yeah, hitboxes seem tied to your velocity and will go wherever you're moving and not wherever you're facing, which kind of made me realize that if you can theoretically play a match by attacking while sprinting backwards, and your hitbox will be as large as if you were facing forward and swinging. When really your hitbox should not be going that far behind you. And this also applies to if you're moving sideways or to the right. Just sideways in general, or if you're moving curved, it also partially extends your hitbox in a weird way. And also, if you swing your camera while moving in like a half circular motion, then your hitboxes cover so much distance. It is ridiculous. Please, Nevs, please, please fix the hitboxes, please, please. It'll make the game so much make the game so much better. That's all I gotta say. I'm sorry this video isn't very good. I just really wanted to complain. Die Def videos never buy.